great. Thank you for joining me today, and it's going to be a real pleasure and fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun to talk to you today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're
So,
welcome. You're welcome.
yeah,
Okay,
can
go
we
ahead.
start?
Yeah, when we're done, I'll need a copy of your headshot and your bio,
Mm-hmm.
and I need and your headshot and your bio, and I'll be recording.
Okay, good.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hasan, the Crypto Hipster, where I interview founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, musicians, artists all around the world in crypto and blockchain. And today I have a unique guest. He is the founder of Masters of Universe. His name is Gleb Zamayatin. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Gleb, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I know that uh, my first name usually makes problems with pronunciation for English people, but you did it correctly. My name is Gleb. So, in most cases, when I live in the United States, I prefer that people call me Glenn. Otherwise, it's a nightmare and torture for people to call me Gleb. But my family name is Zamyatin, and I am founder of Masters Universe. It's the company, the network, the community that develop instructions for subconscious mind. And I'm also the founder of AI startup in energy that it's called Fuse24.com. It's optimizing the routes of and demand and supply of energy resources like electric energy, diesel fuel, oil, gasoline, etc. But today I think that we will better focus on the area that I really like. I have two areas that I'm professional in, and both of them are interesting to me, especially with new developments. But study of the mind and study of subconscious mind is more than a hobby, more than an interest, because I made my first money very quickly. At the age of 21, I already bought my first apartments. So money is not the problem to me. But there are also some issues connected with the use of subconscious mind, like our fears, our pains, our concepts, stereotypes, beliefs, attitudes, behavioral models that we need to, and of course I was also needed to eliminate, because I was born in Soviet Union, and I have all the problems that Soviet people actually have. And as far as you know of political situation now, we most of these people, or half of these people in Russia, still live in something like Russian Empire or part of the Soviet Union, which is actually the next reincarnation of Russian Empire. And so I was Soviet by my background, and at the age of 26 I got the scholarship from leading British business schools, University of Strathclyde, or Strathclyde Graduate Business School, and it was the first time I changed my vision, my mind, my mindset, because I got into a completely different atmosphere, completely different society. So the only way to survive down there was to, change my mind. And after that, I understood that we have plenty of different societies, and most of them have similar fears and behavioral patterns, but there is also some difference. And after that, I spent more than 10 years building my investment banking boutique. We made mergers and acquisitions and private equity project financing for oil, gas and energy projects all over the world. But in 2000, in the middle of 2005, 2006, I understood that I got everything that every big boy wants. Oh, cars, apartments, kids, whatever you name it. And I realized that, but I got it, but it didn't bring me happiness. I'm not happy. I still have troubles. I still have my fears. I still nervous at my work, working with my clients. So at 2008, I started deeply practice instructions for subconscious mind to free my mind from this. And at 2011, I already was almost free and went to Bali. So I think this transformation, it's transformation that is similar to the famous book In Eat, Love and Pray, or Sleep, Love, Pray, whatever you like it. And I went to Bali and suddenly found the job of CFO in energy company, and I realized that not that much changed because I was sitting in Moscow in pretty good office, looking at Moscow River and crunching the numbers in the spreadsheets. In Bali, I just see the different view from my window. It was the ocean, not the Moscow River anymore. But I still, crunching numbers in spreadsheets. So I did the understanding that I need to make something inside me, and this was the starting point when we start to develop Masters of Universe community and instructions for subconscious mind in English to make this technology, to make this technique available for people all over the world. Briefly,
Excellent.
This is my story. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate. Yeah, thank you very much. I was going to ask you your background. You just volunteered it, so appreciate it very much. I like when I don't have to talk too much. So, but I'm interested. You went from number crunching in Moscow to looking at the beach in Bali, and I want to find out what Masters of the Universe is all about. That's where it started, right? And what is your master solution technique and how that works?
Basically, our mind is similar to the computer. Actually, the developers of first computers, the first architecture of the computers is similar to the mind. It's like we have a video card, we have audio card, we have operational memory, we have storage drive, and of course we have viruses. We have programs that operates our body, that process the signals that we get through our eyes, through our ears, through our nose, through our tongue, and kinesthetic feelings. And of course, we have viruses. It's part of our computer system. And we basically created something like an antivirus program that eliminate past traumas, negative emotional charge from the memory, because in fact we cannot delete the memory, and we can't, but we can delete negative emotional charge. Basically, old memories, especially, for me, the most interesting was to work with losing of money, for example, or bankruptcy issues, or all these fears that are connected to money. But most people have these fears. But for women, for example, it is more interesting to improve their relationship, because most of the people to live in their heads, in their brains, in their minds, whatever we call it, most of the people live with their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, second wife, third wife, first husband, second husband, because the behavioral pattern actually didn't change. It's still the same. And fears that were implanted during the first relationship, especially implanted at the first life, at the period of first love, are still going with the person for the rest of his life or her life. So we have something like about 400, more than 400 master solutions, basically for each fear. For example, we have specific master solution to eliminate the fear of death, which is deeply implanted to us by Christianity, and in most cases by Muslim religions. I mean, most of Abrahamic religion has the same root, that we need to fear the death. Why we need to fear it? Right now I don't understand, probably. Before that I was understand it. And surprisingly, most of the people, I mean more than 80% people of the earth have the fear of running out of money, fear of losing money, fear of being poor. And there are such kind of miracles that are created by modern society, or better say modern banks, like for example credit rating. And people are scared to lose their rating, to make a default. But this fear is totally miracle, because first of all, money do not exist in the nature. You cannot pay cow by cash. You need to pay farmer, but not cow for milk or for meat. So it just the construct is just the concept that lives in our head, in our brains, and on the top of this concept there is a concept of credit rating. So it makes the situation more it's more absolutely abstract. And now we have the full set of antiviruses programs. So we are sharing it with the world. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but we try to make it as cheap as possible.
Great. So this is the Crypto Hipster podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I could talk to you about oil, and I could talk to you about relationships all day long, but I'm going to focus on crypto because we're talking about subconscious fears. Um, and so for years, people, including me, have been fighting against three things: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's important to fight against, they call it FUD, but fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because there's so much of it that's prevalent in the industry, and they all affect and they stem from, the unconscious mind, right? So let's look at that, and hopefully you can help me fight the fears and uncertainty and doubts in your technique, in your way. And so I'll ask you the first question from that is given the implosion of crypto this past summer and the banks in the US, right now in Silicon Valley, how can people acknowledge, recognize, and eliminate their fears to move forward powerfully in their lives and make well balanced choices and decisions?
Oh, first of all, if we look from a macroeconomic perspective, despite the fact that I love crypto and I use crypto and I invest in crypto, in traditional vision of finance, the crypto has no place to exist. In fact, it should not exist at all. But since we are hipsters, we can discuss it. However, we see that crypto exists and crypto is doing well. Right now, of course, it's like a crypto winter. However, more and more people are coming into the industry. Maybe products, crypto products are not growing right now like it was 2-3 years before. But anyway, I see that I use Binance, for example. Binance, for me, one of the good apps. Actually, I can compare with another apps like, for example, in Russia we use Sberbank or Tinkoff, but Binance is a little bit worse, but it's still good. It's working good. So I'm kind of happy with the service that is provided. And as for the fears, which are connected to the banks, for example, people are scared by the fear, but most of the fears actually does not exist. If you see the structure of fears, and if you see the real probability that this event will happen to you, they are not adjustable. For example, we have a very big fear of terrorism, a very big fear of being eaten by the shark, especially by white shark. But in statistics, when you look in statistics, there are only 5 deaths per year from the fear of being eaten by the white shark. Or the same is for terrorism. The number of terrorism acts is so small, but if you look at the movie, terrorists are everywhere. So this terrorism fear of being dead from terrorism attack is miserable, but the fear is huge. So the misproportion is huge, and most of the people will die from either from cancer or from heart infarct or being insulted. So I just want to say that the possibility that, for example, Silicon Valley Bank will be bankrupt. I mean that, as far as I know, it's already bankrupt, but that people will not get their money back is so small because there are reserves and special funds that supported banking system in United States. There is no opportunity to fear. Basically, there is no background to fear. If you looked at the previous history of bankruptcies in the United States, it's miserable. There is almost no chance. But probably this is the best way how to fight the fear. Just to look at the statistic. The second way, which I of course prefer, is to look at the root of the fear. It means that you can go dive deep into your memory and have the root of the same panic attack that already happened to you. And you find out that it possibly happened at your early age, in the childhood, or maybe when you are grown. So there is no point to fear. But if you have the fear, go deep down, look the fear, watch it. You may use different types of technique. For example, right now we make a special video for Ho'oponopono technique that provides forgiveness, and you also can provide forgiveness to your fear and heal yourself from inside. So when you watch it and you see that negative emotional charge is eliminating by itself, and if you want to make it in the easiest way, in the most effective way, you can use master solutions, because we already have written these scripts, and the scripts are based on the experience of thousands of people that already have this fear and they eliminated this fear. So at least you have at least three approaches. First of all, look at the statistic. Is this fear really exist or not? Second, rewatch it. Go deep down into your body, go deep down into your nervous system, find this fear inside you, watch it. If it doesn't work, just get the master solution. Fear about money, fear about losing money, and that's it. In 3 days you will be free of it.
There's three acronyms I know for fear. One of them is false evidence appearing real. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So let's talk about the subconscious mind a little bit more, and let's talk about uncertainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many times, our unsuccessful behavior patterns are actually blind spots to us. Somebody has to point out what that blind spot is, but we keep doing them, and they keep us unsuccessful. It's kind of like insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? So how can we acknowledge those blind spots ourselves and then do something about them differently than before? Whether that's crypto trading or investing or social media behavior or whatever behavior it is.
Okay. First of all, we need to understand that future does not exist. We have no future. We have only our mind projection. Projections of the future that, for example, if you see the building, the next day the building will be at the same place. It's not so, it's not so obvious. Basically, the buildings are coming and go, but slowly. So when we need to look at the future, we usually use our projections like we do in corporate finance, or like we do in equity analysis. For example, we build the graphs, and after that we see, it will be growing. After that, black swan, gray swan, white swan, whatever, yellow swan is coming, it's going either up or down, but anyway, it is going different direction that we that we projected. So what is the difference between rich people and usual people? The difference is that rich people making right decision right at the right time. And you know that Facebook or Facebook analogous have appeared several years before Mark Zuckerberg started to work on the Facebook. The same for Amazon. Most of the things, most of these internet services like Google. Google was not the first. Google was something like a 20th company who provided search. Google, I mean Google search, internet search, and but those people have appeared in the right time with the right solution and found the right partners, found the right clients, found the right investors. So instead of making projections and find out that our projections doesn't correspond to reality, it's better to concentrate on the time and on the idea and applicate the right idea at the right time. For example, I am surfing for more than 10 years, and I understood the very simple rule that to have a good surf, you need to be in good form. I mean, you need to be sporty. You need to have good wave and good board. The size of the board should be applicable, should be right for the size of the wave. In this case, you get some fun. Otherwise, not. So basically, we need to concentrate on the chain of making right solutions rather than to make projections in one way or another.
Got it. Makes sense. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So, let's talk about pain, right? Your master solutions help people recover from pain too, right? And in addition to this uncertainty, you help them recover from pain. A lot of times, though, when we're in pain, right? Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier heart disease and cancer, right? Mm-hmm. We don't realize how much pain we're in at the moment. That often gets masked by fear and anger, especially anger, right?
All right.
And there's a lot of infighting this past year all over the board across the world. How can we not individually or collectively, remain in pain, and how can we recover from that pain?
If you are talking about pain in the body, we need to understand that our body is manifestation of our mind. In most cases, in 99.99%, before you got trauma, you probably got some deep emotional situations. Maybe not right now, 2-3 days before, maybe a week before, but you still, this negative emotion, negative neuromediators like noradrenaline or adrenaline is still in your body, is still produced and make you anxious or make you angry. And finally, in 2-3 days, what happened? You broke the knees. That's it. So how we do eliminate it? First of all, we need to eliminate the reason of it. To eliminate the reason of it, we need to remove the reason from the mind. We need to go deep down into this past situation, find out the root, trace the root back into the childhood, if you wish, if you believe in previous lives, if you don't believe in previous life, just stop stop tracking it at the childhood. It's up to your beliefs or up to your knowledge. Uh, and as soon as you will get the release from this situation, immediately you start to feel like your body is relaxing. What means a physical block or cramp? This block and cramp that we use in our language when I'm working, for example, with my clients. Most of us are blocked by our past emotions, grief, anger, pain. All this lives in our body and block, and it sends signals. It makes the neuron tense, and as soon as the neuron tense, the muscle is tense, and when the muscle is tense, the blood cannot flow properly through this muscle. So where we come from, or where we go? If the blood cannot flow perfectly, it means that it will not bring enough oxygen and enough elements that needed to restore the body. And what do we have? There is a block, blood do not flow, and the body sends a signal. The signal is pain. When we unblock it, you see the warmth, you see the tingling. It means that blood starts to flow. And in 2-3 months, the organs start to recover. I mean that our body is permanently recovering. We are fully recovered in 7 years. So if you eliminate all the block, if you are fully relaxed, it means that you will have no pain in the body anymore. But again, the reason for it is in our mind.
I'm going to challenge you on that one. I have to. I have a non-metastatic cancer, so it's tumors that grow and move and do all this advancement, right? And somebody a few months ago told me that started when I was in my childhood, and I said, actually, no, my DNA changed a couple of years ago that caused this, right? So, that's a scientific change and not a grief-led change. But how does the grief-led change lead to the scientific change and then lead to the decisions that we make today? How's it all intertwined?
As for the cancer, I think that this is the most interesting topic to you. The reason of the most reason in most cases, the reason for cancer is that you cannot release emotions properly. I mean, most of the people, especially men, cannot cry. To start to cry, I spent 3 or 4 years, I make special exercise, which is called cry. The same for laughing. Who can laugh properly? You have deep, very deep laughing. Only people who use grass. So when you remove suppressed emotions, when you start to live without the suppressed emotions, when you start to say what do you want to say, what do you need to say, what do you feel inside you, and transmit it to the society, transmitted to other people, transmitted to universe, if you start to give the signal and do not fear anymore to send the signal, because people will love you anyway. But when you do it, from inside you, you do it frankly, you do it totally honest before yourself, it means that you release it. You release your suppressed emotions. We can go deeply into this topic from esoteric point of view, but most of our emotions are based on our solar plexus. So when you release it, you start to breathe. You start to breathe perfectly. I mean, you start to get so-called deep breathing. And through the relaxation, it gives elimination of most of the pain. I know that it's like a fantastic, but if you look, for example, for people who live the previous before last century, you see that the cancer was not a problem, because they were very close to nature and can express emotions freely. We can't. We are sitting at our computers, we are sitting in gadgets. Even if we have emotions, we do not express them. So it's like, releasing it gives you a lot of energy and a lot of relaxation. We have special solution for that. First of all, we have solution for the cancer. And another solution is suppressed emotions release. You need to try it, and you'll see that how it works, how it's make release. Another way, yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah, talk to your friends and laugh, or cry, if you wish. Maybe 5 minutes cry, 5 minutes laugh. Simple exercise.
Awesome. Thank you. So, we talked about fear. We talked about uncertainty and pain. Now let's talk about doubt. Okay? So, I put doubt in the same category as trust. And I see it, like being in crypto, being technology, I see it as 4 options for trust. And I'm going to ask you about each of them. I'll lay them out first. There's some people who trust everyone, right? There are people who trust people but not technology. There are people like me who trust technology but not people. And then there's the 4th group who trust nobody, right? So how do you help each of the people in each of those 4 categories with your solutions? And what are your thoughts?
I think the matter of doubt is a matter of ignorance. But for example, if you do not trust the person, you just need to collect more information about this person. If you saw the recent series called The Consultant, that was the case. Like it was a guy with a very interesting name, Regal Spatov, who and other people don't know him, so their mind created different, scenarios, negative scenarios, like he killed someone, he made out of gold, whatsoever. But it means that this person simply do not feel or do not coincide, do not interact with the archetypes that we have in our subconsciousness. If we see the person who we don't know, we start to put him in our boxes, like men, women, old, young, and after that we make certain projections. So when people do not trust someone, it means that first of all they do not have enough information, and second, their analytical system, analytical mind, analytical part of the brain put him or her into the wrong box, which we just put it. He doesn't behave like us. He doesn't say another word. He has an accent. He has a strange name. It's weird. I will go away because I don't want to get the problem. Yeah, I don't trust him because we don't know what actually can happen. We prefer to stay in our comfort zone rather than to go out in it, because it's energetically expensive to go out. So it's better to do not trust people rather than to trust them. And the same as for decision making. It's better to stay safe and do not to invest, but save all the pennies rather than to put land portion of your wealth into something new. Of course, it's a very big internal struggle, and not a lot of people can work with it, can accept it. As for trust for technology, since I am founder of 2 startups, I know that behind the technology there is nothing more than algorithm. And if you understand that computer just a simple machine, actually abacus, but very advanced abacus, there is no point to fear of algorithm. Even with all this fear, all these new fears about implementation of artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT and other models, people try to find that it can be a new mind. But this is again, it's just a simple machine. It's algorithm. It's not possible to make to put life into the thing that is not breathing. It doesn't have soul. It cannot create something new, because it just can construct things from different details which you don't know, because of course matrix of information that used by AI machines is much bigger than you can even imagine. It's perfect instrument, and how it's just but at the end of the world it's just 0 and 1. It's just a program. Yeah, it's algorithm. It's abacus. Yeah, but very huge abacus. I know that because I made my first money on in coding at the age of 15. So we used assembler at this time. Some of people used even the initial codes, binary codes. What was about the doubt? Of course, our memory can catch only 3 things. But when you start to talk about first one, second one, the third and fourth thing are going out.
Yeah, I understand. And that's for people who don't trust anything?
Sorry?
And for what do people who don't trust anything start to do?
It just they don't want to go out the comfort zone. I mean that they don't either they don't have enough energy, they don't want to change anything. They are pretty happy or unhappy with their life and prefer to stay in their egg, yeah, in their room. But even if you don't doubt anything, you need to go out sometimes. And sometimes you need to change the route. But if you change the route, of course, you need to start to trust to something else.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. So you said, I have one final question before I say it too. One is, you said archetypes, right? Can you describe briefly how that works? Because I've used to help lead men's weekends, and we worked on archetypes of the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover, both the mature and the immature archetypes. And
Jamil, may I ask you to speak into the microphone, because I don't hear you well.
I said I'm speaking. Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. I used to be on the men's organizations where we focused on archetypes of the king, warrior, magician, and lover. So, I know those archetypes, the mature and immature side. I want to find out from you briefly. You mentioned archetypes, right? What archetypes are you focused on at your organization, and with your Master Universe work, and how does that apply to today?
Mm-hmm. Different cultures have their own different archetypes. Archetypes of people from Muslim country probably have like archetype of Muhammad. Archetypes from Christian cultures mostly have archetype of Christ. Pagan countries have their own archetype. We are very close to understanding, or our archetype is the master. The master who creates our own reality, our own universe. What does it mean? That since we see what we want to see, we hear what we want to hear, we are filtering a lot of information in our mind. And of course, based on this limited amount of information that we already filtered out, I mean, we maybe use only 1% of information that we see around us. All other information is going into the rubbish. We do not see it, we don't accept it. Our mind prefer to stay away from it. However, when you remove your concepts, stereotypes, and limited beliefs, you start to see 360 degrees around, and you can see the reality in different. If you can see the reality is if you have this fulfillment of information, you can make another type of decisions. You can solve the problem in a huge amount of variance. So the masters of universe prefer to use the archetype which is close to the God, because we create our reality, and since we create our reality, we can make solutions, we can make decisions based on the full matrix of information. It's like you use AI, because you see more information at the same amount of time. You can analyze it, and you can see different, very different. So you can make very different solutions in your life when you see it.
Got it. Thank you. So I want to thank you very much for your time today. It's been an amazing conversation. I really like talking to you. One final question is how can people find out more information about you, about Masters of the Universe, about your products, your offerings? How can they do any of that?
Yeah, it's very simple. First of all, our basic point is our website, which is called mastersofuniverse.net. I use this domain because we created the network of masters. The people resonate with us. That people feel our power, feel their power, and want to join something, something big. And also we have channels on YouTube, which is called my channel called Zen Master, and probably I need to right now to rename it to Master of Subconsciousness or Master of Universe. We have more business-like channel in LinkedIn, the group called The Business Power of Subconscious Mind. In Facebook we call it Masters of Universe, and in Telegram we also Masters of Universe. I tried to use Instagram and TikTok, but I can create the images, not very creative, because my mind is mostly structured for numbers. I prefer to crunch numbers. I see the numbers, I feel the numbers, I eat the numbers, and I produce the numbers at the end of the day. But for the images, I need a little bit more talent.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Jamil. It was a pleasure to talk with you.